The teachers of San Andres joined the National Union demonstration called by FECODE in order to defend life, democracy, health, and peace, among other points.
Once again, the teachers went on strike as a mechanism to raise their voice of protest to the government regarding situation with which they are not satisfied. In this way, the Union of Educators held a peaceful march from the Educators' House to the Departmental Governor's Office.
We have a list of demands that the national government is not complying with at the moment. Some agreements that were made at the beginning of the year, and the national government has not been willing to allow these projects to take place within the national territory. We also have health problems. We are getting sick, dying, and the medical service is very poor. It is very bad.
For all the needs and all the problems, for the unfulfilled agreements by the national government, for the unsafe schools after the pandemic, for the retroactive payments.
In response to the arguments put forward by the teachers during the demonstration, the Secretary of Education stated,
"No one has been paid retroactive in the department. The administration has not paid them either. The personnel in charge of payroll liquidation has been working with the Ministry of Education with logical support, trying to review the errors in the platform, and as they are being cleaned up, we hope that at the end of the month we will be able to pay the retroactive amount."
Teachers will remain on strike until they receive a satisfactory response to their request.
Islanders are concerned about the poor state of the infrastructure of the Gustavo Rojas Pinilla International Airport of San Andres.
Among the inconveniences presented in the air terminal of the archipelago is the poor state of its infrastructure, as well as the lack of cleaning and security personnel, facts that are of concern since the island is one of the most important tourist points of the country.
Estamos muy preocupados por las condiciones en que se encuentra.
We are very concerned about the conditions in which the airport has been for more than a year. It is not fair for the inhabitants of San Andres and tourists to not have a good air conditioning, not to have docks to board the plane, not to have an escalator. The truth is that we have reached several people from the Ministry of Civil Aeronautics, but so far we have not seen an immediate action to resolve these problems. San Andres deserves a decent airport.
The president of the board of directors of Pro Archipelago adds that it is of vital importance to follow up on this issue because tourists, when paying a tourist card to enter the department, aspire to find adequate infrastructure. Every day, 25 flights enter the Archipelago department with approximately 160 passengers per flight.
Residents and people that pass the cliff sector complained before the cameras of Teleislas News about the excess of garbage that has been presented in recent days in that area.
The community of the cliff sector has expressed its dissatisfaction with the accumulation of garbage that has occurred in the outskirts of the sector, indicating that they feel affected by the bad odors, in addition to the fact that the garbage collection company has not removed the waste for several days.
Trash Buster has more than 15 days since they've last picked up the garbage you see there. People pass by styling that they have to get off the sidewalk and step on the road to cross.
Si están viendo cómo está el andén lleno de basura.
If you are seeing how the sidewalk is full of garbage, all the tourists that pass diagonally to this sector have to pass with their noses covered because of the amount of garbage and the smell. It seems that there is no solution to pick up this garbage. Trash Buster should stop by more often with the empty trucks and vacuum all that stuff that is here, which is garbage.
Teleislas News has tried to contact the department garbage collection company, but at the time of this broadcast, we have not received a response. The community of the cliff sector also told Teleislas News that they are affected by the sewage overflows.
And the Foreign Affairs Ministry held a briefing of the Foreign Relations Advisory Commission to give an assessment of Colombia's defense in Hague.
During the meeting, members of the defense gave details of their participation before the International Court of Justice in the hearing of the process related to the alleged violation of sovereign rights and maritime spaces in the Caribbean Sea. House Representative Elizabeth J. Pan was invited to this meeting.
I had the opportunity, first of all, to give thanks for the incidents they have had for taking into account what the Department of San Andres really means, and that is the preservation of the environment related to the Biosphere Reserve and the preservation of the ethnic group. I also thank them for taking into account our suggestions, which were basically on two issues. One is the information provided by the Chancellery on how the litigation process is progressing, and also the request for a racial voice to be part of the defense.
In the same way, the parliamentarian made some requests to the Chancellery, among them the advance in spite of the current litigation in generating relations for the commercial exchange between the Central American countries, to initiate a process with the bordering countries that make use of the zone to protect the Great Biosphere Reserve and thus guarantee the fishing rights through the delimitation of zones, and to work for the prevention of the environment and the defense of the rights of the racial people.
The environmental entity of the island, Coralina, has already defined the date of the temporary closure of Johnny Cay.
The Environmental Corporation Coralina announced today the temporary closure of the Johnny Cay Regional Park, which will be from next week, where maintenance work will begin.
We got the closing at the park between the 25, 26, and 27 October. This closing is just according to the tribunal that give us the order to shut the park every 3 months for 3 days, and that is what we do. So at this time, we will keep on doing the same activity then that we usually do. Principally is the maintenance of the water system, the bathroom and the kitchen water system. Otherwise, we got the maintenance of the business them. Each one of business go and clean them business, and make one deep cleaning and enjoy this opportunity to get together and train even by the corporation or other institution like the government secretary or the health secretary.
As of Johnny Cay, the Association of Tour Operators of the regional park indicated that during the closure they will be helping with cleaning and improving the facilities of the tourist attraction.
We've been attending to Johnny Cay 100%, cleaning, and it is the obligation of each worker to clean. We hope that other entities support us because it is to collaborate so that the Cay is in optimal conditions. We hope that the travel agencies, both operators and everyone involved with the Johnny Cay Regional Park will contribute.
October 28 will be the day when the Johnny Cay Regional Park will reopen for the enjoyment of residents and tourists.
The General Maritime Directorate presented a positive report with the safe mobilization of passengers during the week of school break vacation.
School vacation week, the General Maritime Directorate, DIMAR, presents a positive report on the mobilization of passengers to the different waterways, coastal and insular areas of the country, thus promoting the economic reactivation of tourism.
San Andres was the 4th most visited place at the national level, with a mobilization of 19,882 passengers within the exercise of the tourist activity at sea. It is worth mentioning that we did not have any type of mishap or accidents. This indicates that the interinstitutional work that was done, the control that we had from the port captaincy with our inspectors allowed safeguarding life at sea and guaranteeing the integral maritime security, which is what interests us most at this time when there are a large number of tourists visiting San Andres.
During the holiday week, the crystalline sea of 7 colors of San Andres delighted 19,882 passengers who toured the different attractions of the island and contributed to the growth of the economy through the tourism sector. Due to the high concentration of visitors on the beaches, the General Maritime Directorate increased the level of control and inspection in the different areas of jurisdiction in order to protect navigation, human life at sea, and the marine environment.
And now we will learn about the other facts that are news today in our briefings.
El Cuerpo de Bomberos del departamento, en aras de estar preparados y capacitados para atender cualquier emergencia en el archipiélago, envió un grupo de rescatistas a la ciudad de Cali, donde recibieron capacitación en temas relacionados con emergencia. En el marco de la conmemoración del Día Internacional de la Lucha contra el Cáncer de Mama, la Liga contra el Cáncer del departamento, en conjunto con el gobierno departamental, llevaron a cabo una campaña de concientización sobre la importancia de la detección a tiempo de esta enfermedad y el autoexamen de mama para el diagnóstico temprano. Con un lazo rosa, la Liga contra el Cáncer busca poner el foco sobre esta enfermedad. La Secretaría de Cultura viene adelantando su programa Biblioteca Se Toma Tu Barrio, iniciativa que busca a través de jornadas lúdicas pedagógicas por parte del grupo de bibliotecarios de la Casa de la Cultura de la Loma en diferentes sectores de la isla como Las Gaviotas, Barrot, Los Amigos, Natania y Son Bay.